Boom! What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. Man, I've wrestled some jimmies in the gluten-free community, and I know I'm about to do it again. Let me tell you a little about gluten sensitivity. Well, research has demonstrated it's complete and utter bullshit, guys. It is exactly what I said it was. Check it out. The researcher who provided key evidence for gluten sensitivity have now thoroughly shown that it doesn't even exist. Let me read this article. This article is actually in Business Insider, written by Jennifer Welsh. And one of the best examples of science working, meaning that when you have a study, you follow up to validate that study. That's why a lot of times I get mad at these fucking armchair quarterbacks just quoting studies and not really expanding upon those studies or using common sense to extrapolate different conclusions from the studies. Extrapolate. Using big words today. The first follow-up paper came out last year in the Journal of Gastroenterology. Here's the backstory that makes us cheer. The study was a follow-up on a 2011 experiment in the lab with Peter Gibson. The scientifically sound but small study found that gluten-containing diets can cause gastrointestinal distress in people without celiac disease, which is an autoimmune disorder triggered by gluten. They call this non-celiac gluten sensitivity. And basically, celiac is a protein composite found in wheat, barley, and other grains, gives bread its chewiness and blah, blah, blah. If you ever had wheat meat, seitan, or mock duck at a Thai restaurant, that's gluten. It's a big industry. 30% of people surveyed want to eat less gluten. Okay? Sales of gluten-free products are estimated to hit $15 billion by 2016. Hopefully this story makes people like gluten again, because I fucking love it. I love that wheat meat. Since it's a protein found in any normal diet, Gibson, the scientist, was unsatisfied. Even though the dude pioneered something epic and started a $16 billion industry, or at least enhanced it, he went and he found out to see why gluten was causing this reaction. There could be something else going on. In a follow-up paper, 37 self-identified gluten-sensitive patients were tested. According to Real Clear Science Newton's blogs, here's how the experiment went. Basically, they'd be provided with a single meal duration. There were, basically, it was a controlled study. Subjects cycled through high gluten, low gluten, and no gluten placebo diets, not knowing which diet they were on. In the end, all the treatment diets, even the placebo diet, caused pain, bloating, nausea, and gas to a similar degree. It didn't matter if the diet contained gluten or not. In contrast to the study, says the scientist, we could find absolutely no specific response to gluten. It seems to be a nocebo effect. The self-diagnosed gluten-sensitive patients expected to feel worse on the study diets, so they did. They were also more attentive to their intestinal distress, since they had to monitor it for the study. On top of that, these other potential dietary triggers, specifically the FODMAPs FODMAPs, could be causing what people have wrongly interpreted as gluten insensitivity. Here's what I'm getting at. Anytime something comes out in the media, be it by Dr. Oz or one of the other fucking guys on Dr. Phil with his fucking apple and pear, he got sued by the FTC. He got sued by class actions because he's a fucking moron. But I do think he's genius when it comes to fucking psychology. But stay the fuck out of my fucking fitness industry, okay, fatty? All right, so I know, you're on steroids. Oh, Dr. Phil can take all the steroids in the world. He's still going to look like a fucking piece of shit. All right, here's the deal. I get mad because even my sister-in-law thinks or thought or whatever that she was avoiding gluten, and they follow these hippie guidelines and these hippie diets, because what happens if you think something can be wrong with you? It's amazing how it can be wrong with you. I mean, you're going to be like, well, I'm allergic to gluten. Anytime you eat some kind of bread, oh, my stomach. You think you're allergic to dairy. Oh, my this. And lactose intolerant is very real. I see lactose intolerant. But here's the thing. Celiac is a very, 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 very rare thing. Only 1% of Americans, only 3 million people out of 350 million, essentially suffer from celiac disease. And celiac disease is fucked up, man. Celiac disease is not like, I just can't digest my gluten. You're literally fucking puking your brains. I actually talked to Ian McCarthy about this. We worked out back in the day. And Ian's like, you realize that when you have celiac disease, you're fucked up, man. So I just want, and I hope that people watch this from outside my arena, outside the fitness world, and people realize that just because you read something doesn't mean you have to be a hypochondriac and think you have it. I have a lot of symptoms that contain a lot of diseases. For example, I'm thirsty because, well, I'm thirsty. I'm just fucking thirsty. That doesn't mean I have a dehydration issue or another kind of disorder that's causing my thirst. It's a correlation effect, and it has no fucking bearing on one another. Now, I'm not saying to ignore symptoms and not get allergy tests, but I am saying don't listen to this hippie bullshit that's causing you to not enjoy yummy foods like pasta, whole wheat bagels, and all that shit out there, okay? So all you people who think you have non-celiac gluten intolerance, well, the guy who said you could have had it now says you're full of shit. I'm Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. Because eating whole wheat pizza crust, it's not a game. Boom!